We're here today with a very special guest, former Jesuit Blue Jay, LSU Tiger, and now with the Atlanta Falcons, Debo Jones. Debo, thanks for being with us today. I want to ask you, you had some great times at Jesuit High School. You were the MVP, the state MVP in the state of Louisiana, the Metro MVP, defensive MVP, 12-win run record with the Jays, 179 tackles, and 8 sacks. Some fond memories there.
Man, I can say all the friendships that I made playing football here. I still keep in touch with those guys like Alex Jacobian, Go Grieve, Rhett Reynolds. I mean, everybody. I still got good relationships with them. Those are my brothers for life.
The recruiting process, Debo, you committed to Nebraska originally. What other schools were in the mix, and why LSU ultimately?
Nebraska, I mean, they always had a great linebacker core. Vontae David and other guys. At that point, I didn't really, I didn't have an offer from LSU yet, and I just kind of wanted to knock it out before, like, the senior season and just get it over with. I got kind of fed up with, like, the recruiting process a little bit. It was getting overwhelming. So, I picked Nebraska, and then LSU came and talked it over. I met with Coach Miles and Coach Frank. I mean, that's always where I wanted to be, so I had to go.
Was it tough telling the Cornhuskers no?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I gave them my word, and I just had to, I had to stay home. Like, I'm not used to my family not being at games and stuff like that, so it was better for me to be at home, I guess.
Debo, you and I have had some conversations up at LSU when you were there. You bided your time. You were outstanding special teams. You had 65 tackles, but you topped that with a 100 tackle season. Your senior season, 5 sacks and 13 and a half tackles for loss. You hit the bonanza, but you bided your time, and I tell you what, it all paid off, didn't it?
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't leave. I mean, the friendships that I made and bonds I made with coaches, I mean, it just didn't make sense for me to leave, and plus that's a place where I wanted to play all my life. And, I mean, it was a dream come true.
4.38 40. You used to be able to jump over cars, I remember, back in your early days at LSU. What's the best numbers you ever put up on the track? I know that 4.38 really opened some eyes at the combine.
I think I had 37-inch vertical. I think. Yeah, I remember that.
What about the 40? Was that your best 40?
Yeah, it was.
And it came at the right time?
Yeah, it did.
Your favorite player growing up?
Oh, man. Ray Lewis, Ricky Williams. He was with the Saints. That was another favorite player. That's about it.
Okay. Were you a Saints guy growing up?
A little bit. But I rooted for the Ravens, too, because Ray Lewis.
Les Miles is a guy that the fans don't really know much about, but you see him differently. I know you're laughing, but Les is the kind of guy that the players really warm up to, don't they?
Oh, yeah. He's like a real-life father figure to the team. He holds us accountable, teaches us life lessons, make sure we're focused, we're good at school. I mean, sometimes you don't get that with a lot of coaches. They're just so focused on the football aspect. Of Coach Miles, focused on, building character and building men. You've
lined up mostly at weak side linebacker, but the Falcons have you playing in the middle. Is that a good fit for you?
Oh, man. I guess I'm vocal. I made calls at LSU, thanks to all the coaches for putting me in that environment. Made calls at LSU. I'm able to make the calls out there on the field and fly sideline to sideline, I guess.
Hey, you got a couple of former Tigers up there with you, Jalen Collins and Tyson Jackson. How have they helped you in the transition to NFL football?
Oh, they've been a big help, showing me the ropes around there. Jalen's been helping me out with the defense and, kind of teaching me how to soak it in. And Tyson, I can tell you from teaching me what it takes to be a pro, being by him playing for so long, following his steps and taking heed to what he's saying, like on the field, off the field, stuff like that. Big help.
The SEC is noted to have the best and most talented players and coaches in the country, but what is the biggest jump from the SEC to the NFL?
To tell you the truth, them old linemen fast. Like, no, fast. Like they run like deer. To say they're that big, and it was like, how is he getting on me that fast? You know, like it's just the way it is.
So it's little things sometimes. It's not just about speed and power. It's the mind game a little bit.
Yeah, they're so fast. Like the reads, and getting to the next level, it's crazy.
And finally, Debo, a lot of young men and young ladies are watching this TV show, and they're going through the recruiting process. What questions should they ask? What's important in the recruiting process they should know?
I can tell you one thing is, don't get too caught up into the flash and the facilities and stuff like that. But yeah, that has a big part to do in it. But mostly, get to know the coaches, that you're going to be with the next 4 years. And, get some feedback from the players and how they feel about the coach. I mean, all that has a part in it. And also, do they have the curriculum that you want to major in? And, that's pretty much it, I can say.
Debo, I'll say this, you have made no shortcuts, buddy. I'm really happy and proud of you. You've done it the hard way and done it the right way.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Debo.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider. We're here with a legend in New Orleans, an outstanding high school player, a guy that I did games when he was playing here, and he excelled at every level, college and a professional level, Kordell Stewart. Kordell, thanks for being with us, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
It's unbelievable to be here, to place you. It's so many great games. Looking back on those days at John Ehret, there's so many things that stand out, but it was a formative years for you. What did you come away leaving Ehret after you graduated?
I would say the camaraderie. I think the things that Billy North, Kenny Bourgeois, Tom Levine, I think they gave us things that the parent normally give you at home, which is a sense of assurance when it comes to not just being a good football player, but trying to be a good all-around person. And to be able to take that and inject that into your life as you grow older, for me personally, I see dividends in it.
Something you touched on, Kordell, giving back to your hometown. I know you don't live here anymore, but yeah. New Orleans and the metro area is important to you. Every summer, camp for the kids. Yeah. Why is that important?
When you do these camps, it's because those memorable moments, you try to instill, how can I say this, a level of stability mentally for these kids, to where if there's a guy who's lived here before, but yet he's gone abroad and got it done, he's coming back again. I don't want the kids to feel stagnant psychologically, feeling as if they need to, be something other than themselves, and know that if you just put forth the work and put it in, it can work. Like on my t-shirt right here, I have, "Are you next?" I think that's important to ask those kids and try to encourage them the best I can, because as you come into the camp, you see my banner, me playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know me from John Ehret. A lot of people here, more than sure the kids who never saw me play, they understand I was from John Ehret, but they had a chance to see me play on the biggest stage that you could possibly play on.
Recruiting process. A lot of kids watching this show are going through it, or going to go through it, men and women. What message do you have for men, young girls and young guys who are being recruited? What's important? What do you look for?
You have to take care of your business first. Whether it's making sure your GPA is good, doing the testing well, to getting the ACT, SAT score squared away, but that take the body of work of all the other stuff to be taken care of, to allow yourself early to get the 22s that I hear kids are getting nowadays, to the 25s, and bona fide athletes, but these kids are really getting the work done. But it's like everything else in life, it's about progressing. The car industry has evolved, the school districts has evolved, the game of football in the sense of how plays are ran and from the sideline or on the field with players having a chance to make the calls, it's evolved. And so I think when you think of the educational side, along with the style in itself of how kids are living and how they think about sports, I think it's evolved. So all I can say is just take care of your business. And then when that opportunity comes, everybody's gonna want you if you're good. But what about that kids that's not wanted? I think that's the one that needs to be targeted most. The ones that's wanted, it's the obvious. Does the uniforms look good? Did the team where I'm thinking about going, did they win? How much have they won? Who's the coaches? Am I going to be on television? That's the cliche stuff. It's that kid that doesn't get the opportunity to be seen on a level like the blue chippers are. I think those are the ones that need to do the best they can to keep their focus and their mind on what it is they're really looking for. Because a lot of people say, don't forget where you come from. It's not where you're from, it's where you're going. Because you can always come back home. Look at me, I'm here. So, I hear all this, man, keep it real, keep it 100, keep it true to the game, whatever we say, right? It's not about where you're from. It's more about where are you going. And if you can get that mindset on where you're trying to go, whether it be college, whether it be being a professor, whether it be a doctor, whether it be a lawyer, whatever it may be, administrative, individual, it's about where you're going. So if you can allow yourself to somewhat have that out-of-body experience of saying, okay, I just want to see myself being a Troy Aikman's at UCLA to the Dallas Cowboys. I want to see myself be the Joe Montanas who's gone from Notre Dame to San Francisco and been the greatest, or Randall Cunningham to Warren Moon through his struggles of being in Washington, having to prove himself in Canada, and then taking to the National Football League and become the first African-American quarterback to ever make it to the Hall of Fame. That's historic type stuff. And the road can be traveled different ways, but it's just all about your mental and emotional resolve.
You picked Colorado when you were coming out of John Ehret. Why were the Buffaloes a good fit for you and Bill McCartney? What other schools were in the mix, and why Colorado?
Everybody was in the mix, literally. Everybody. Notre Dame, Nebraska, Miami, Florida State, UCLA, USC, Minnesota, Syracuse. I can go on and on. UCF, Texas Longhorns, Texas A&M, LSU last minute. And I don't say that in a bad way, but, it was a time in which if you're not the guy that they want, they may come on at different times. Arkansas was there Syracuse and Arkansas literally was there from day one, from my sophomore year all the way through. Not here, but sending letters.
1992, you get your first start against Colorado State. 400 yards, 4 touchdown passes. A couple of years later, almost to the day, Kordell, you launched that 64-yard prayer to Michael Westbrook. You against Michigan. You had some great years at Colorado, man.
Yeah.
What jumps out when I mention those times?
2 times. That CSU game, first half, I think I may have thrown for 75 yards in the first half. Lamont Warren comes in at halftime. Coach Mack comes in at halftime. And the conversation is just like, what is it going to be? We were down. What are we going to do? We the state team. Everybody knows it. But playing CSU is always a battle. Always, regardless. And so second half, myself, Charles Johnson, Christian Forte, and Michael Westbrook, that's when the 400 yards came into play. Actually broke the school record for the most yards passing in a game, and it all really was in the second half. So that game within itself was an experience because Les Steckel, who also was recruiting me at the time, we changed the offense from the option pass, which is how they won the national championship against Notre Dame in 1990, to pass option. Because I was bigger, taller, and faster, my arm was stronger, we start throwing the ball all over the place, but yet we still implemented the option because of my speed. So that's what I remember. And then the Hail Mary pass. I think probably if you turn the volume down and watch all the Hail Mary passes that was thrown, when you draw it up on paper, you probably have to say, outside of ESPN in Bristol and obviously Doug Flutie going to Boston College, and there's some bias there, of course. They always say that's the best one. I would like to say that my Hail Mary pass against Michigan probably would be one, I know in this community, probably one of the biggest football plays I think they may have ever seen, just period, whether it's high school, college, of their own person, their hometown player. And when it comes to that one play, it was actually thrown from the minus 26-yard line, so it was actually 74 yards. I like to throw all the extra because that's where officially 64, but 74 in the air. But honestly, that play in itself, man, that's what made my visit back to Colorado so fun.
You go to Pittsburgh Steelers, second round, 1995, Super Bowl. You also, in 2001, you make the Pro Bowl, and you're the team MVP. A lot of things went on in between there, Kordell, but was that 2001 season the high point, or there's something in between?
I would say the in-between, the struggles were the high point for me because it let me know more about myself. I knew I could do that, what I did in 2001. I knew I could go out and play slash in 1995 when we went to the Super Bowl. That's what I do. That's what we did here. Even you, when you were growing up, you played defensive line, quarterback, running back, wide receiver. We did it all, right? Coach sometimes, whatever. Making it to the Super Bowl was great. 97 was my official first year starting as a quarterback on the team. Went to the AFC Championship, lost to the great John Elway, Hall of Famer, and also decision maker there with the Denver Broncos. To all of a sudden, the murky time came in of the life of a quarterback. Rumors, boos, to saying you suck. And so now is a time to figure out who you are as a person. And that's what my message is to these kids. It's going to be tough times, but stand the test of it and know in the end there's some good on the other side. It can't always be crazy. There has to be some good. It's like the heart monitor, you know, when you're in the hospital, there's ups and ebbs and flows, right? In that 2001 year, as you mentioned, after being a wide receiver my first year, one of the best on the team, one of the best in the league, to being a quarterback in 97, going to the AFC Championship, going through the tough times, now also going back to having greatness in 2001, then going to the Pro Bowl as a quarterback, not as a receiver, but as a quarterback. And so when I look at that entire run in Pittsburgh, I don't think that'll ever be done again in the game.
Hard work and perseverance pay off, Kordell. Congratulations on all the success on and off the field, buddy. You haven't changed at all. I'm so happy for you. It's always good to see you.
Thank you.
We're here today with Rob Kelley, former O'Perry Walker running back, Tulane Green Wave, and NFL running back. Rob, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, going back to O'Perry Walker days, Emmanuel Powell was the head coach. Anthony Johnson, Dwayne Thomas now at LSU. You had over 2,300 yards, 25 touchdowns. What are your fondest memories as a Charger?
I'd say my senior year, we went on a good run. Went all the way to the semifinals, and unfortunately, we lost to Franklin, but that was probably the best moments because it was like more of a team experience. Everybody gelled together.
Now, you played cornerback a little bit there. How did that help you as a running back? I mean, flexibility, you're a smaller version of Rob Kelley at that time, but how did that help you athletically?
I think just my running back, my offense skills helped me more on the defensive side, just being able to have ball skills and catch the ball and run after I catch an interception and stuff like that, even though I only caught 2.
Nope. The recruiting process, Rob, coming out of O'Perry Walker, what schools did you look at, and why was Tulane a good fit?
I had Minnesota, Memphis, Louisiana Tech, and Tulane were like the top 4 schools I was interested in. The biggest reason I chose Tulane because that was like my only running back offer, and just the first coaching staff that was there, I really felt connected with those guys, and even like some of them stand on the second staff. So I figured it was a good decision to make.
You're a power kind of guy. You've played some fullback. You can run between the tackles. You can bounce it outside. Kind of describe your style a little bit.
I think I can do like pretty much everything. I'm probably great at nothing, good at everything. So it depends on who we're playing. Are we playing like a hard-nosed team? I try to run in between the tackles and like be like kind of aggressive. Are we playing like a team that I know I can get outside or something like that? I'll probably try to switch it up. It depends. What they need me to do, catch the ball or whatever.
Special teams in the NFL now, in your situation, is a good thing. It's important. But you averaged career-wise at Tulane, Rob, over 20 yards per return, kick return. Yeah. That's something you took a lot of pride in, but you were very good at.
Yeah. When I went to Tulane, we already had Arlene's Darkwa. He was like a freshman All-American and stuff. So being at O'Perry Walker, you can't sit on the bench. So I was like, I gotta find a way to get on the field. The kickoff return, one of the ways I get on the field. So I took advantage of it.
You're a good receiver, good hands. Is that something that comes naturally to you, or is that something that took a little work?
That's something that comes natural. I don't know. Like in college and NFL, you don't see too many backs that catch the ball, but like I know at O'Perry Walker, like all the running backs catch the ball. Like so you don't get credit for it because everybody do it.
You come back home and you work out in the off season at the Duke Academy, kind of refine your skills a little bit. How does that help you?
Keep me sharp when I go back out there, man, because I know everybody working. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna take days off, the NFL ain't gonna be the place for you. So I try to stay ahead of everybody, if not on the same level as them.
A fullback, being a fullback, blocking, as you know, is just technique and 1-2. Is that something that you've kind of accepted? Is that something you enjoy doing?
At first I didn't, because I always wanted the ball in my hand. But once I figured like it's gonna help the team win and I get on the field too, I took advantage of it.
At first, I was kind of timid to go in there and block the big old middle linebacker and stuff, but at the end of the day, either he gonna hurt me, I'm gonna have to hurt him. So,
Who was your favorite player growing up, Rob?
I say Chris Johnson. I try to watch Marshall Faulk just because we came from the same area, but I feel like I relate more to Chris Johnson.
When did you realize that there was a chance you had the skills to play on Sunday?
I always wanted to play like all my whole life, but like once I got a Tulane and like being around guys like Coach Dave and Coach Drake and Rawlins, like just them sitting down talking to me and they seen the talent in me that I didn't see in myself, made me kind of realize I actually have somebody I can work with and get there.
Now, you've started your NFL career with the Washington Redskins. Jay Gruden, good coach, good guy.
I love Coach Gruden, and just the short period of time I've been around, like he make you feel comfortable. Like he a jokester, so like you never tense around him. You get to be yourself. That's why I like being at Washington. I feel like it's a good fit.
Now, Ryan Grant is a guy with the Redskins who's kind of makes you feel a little bit at home. Is he kind of taking you under his wing a little bit?
Of course, like when I went up there, we stay in the hotel or whatever. But like on the weekends, I go chill by Ryan's house. We'll sit down and talk about how can I help myself. He asks me questions how he can get better, and just having that friend make you feel more comfortable. You walk into a brand new locker room, all these different people, and you have somebody that you can sit down and talk to that you cool with. When in case like all the other workers, they can't sit down and talk to nobody like that.
Now, Ryan spent a little time with you at Tulane as a receiver. He was there a year or so with you?
He was there 3 years with me.
Kirk Cousins. People think of him as a wired, kind of excitable guy. Is he that way, Kirk Cousins, quarterback?
Since I've been there, that's the guy he is, wild and exciting. One thing about Kirk, man, he make you feel comfortable in the huddle when like pre-snap and stuff. Like he's pointing stuff out, he knows what's going on, so it make you feel more comfortable. Like I don't do too much thinking when I'm in there with Kirk.
How has the game changed a little bit from college level, Rob, to the NFL? How is it more demanding, or how's it different for you?
The biggest thing, what you're gonna notice as soon as you get in there, is like the speed. Everybody knows the speed change. Whatever level you go up, it's gonna change. But I think like the hardest part is like protections. Just it's so many calls and stuff. Like the quarterback, the $1 million man, you got to protect him. So like I think the hardest part is just like knowing your assignments and who you got. I mean, anybody can play football, but can you protect, or are you smart enough to pick up the protection?
What are your goals for 2016?
My goal is real simple. I just want to be on a 53-man roster.
And finally, if you could go back a few years and go through the recruiting process once again, a lot of young men and young ladies are watching this show. What questions do you ask a recruiter? What are you looking for? What's really important?
I think the biggest thing for me, from my experience, I just would try to get a feel for like if that coach is trying to build something at that particular school, do he see himself being there for a long time? Because when you get in a situation when you got different coaches coming, it's kind of take a toll on you and your teammates and that coach. Like, because he working for the better of everybody, but everybody got different agendas, and you want to be with a coach that you can build with.
How important is academics?
Academics is really important. One of the best things I got out of Tulane was that degree. It means a lot in today's world. A Tulane degree, it holds a lot of weight.
Well, Rob, appreciate it, man. Continued success and good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider. We're here with a very special guest, native New Orleanian and recent inductee into the All-State Sugar Bowl Hall of Fame, Randy Livingston. Born and raised in New Orleans, who is your favorite player growing up, Randy?
Favorite player growing up, any sport.
Any sport.
It would have to be, and not too many people don't know me, I had a cousin that played football at Booker T. Washington by the name of Keith James, and he came out the same year as Marshall Faulk and actually won all of the prep high school football awards over Marshall, and obviously we know what Marshall's career ended up, but Keith was my mentor, looked up to him, and actually got me into playing football. So I'd always looked up to him in high school, and then I got to see Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf play at the NIT, at the Newman tournament, and then, I always looked up to him.
You mentioned football, Randy. People don't know you really were an outstanding football player. What position did you play, and did you ever wonder, what if you go in that direction?
Well, in high school and middle school and going at it, I know for sure I would have kept playing quarterback. That's what I was when I was at John Curtis, a Veer quarterback. And I tell Jeff Curtis this story all the time. I said, Dad said, move the running back, and you were going to play quarterback. And I said, at least at quarterback, I don't get hit every play. Running back wasn't it. So the rest was history. I transferred to Newman. But football was my first love. Still love it to this day. And probably if I would have kept playing, I probably would have moved to safety or somewhere like that if I wanted to continue to play in college. But it was my first love. Every year, Peyton Manning tried to get me to come out at Newman. I'll never forget my senior year. We won 2 state championships. I'm like, all right, I want to enjoy it. I am going to football practice. I have my helmet, my shoulder pads, everything on. And Coach Fitz is coming this way. Coach Reg is coming this way. And, you know, we know the rest was history at that. I think Coach Fitz won out that one.
You went to Newman. Peyton Manning was there, the 2 best players in your respective sports at one school. Those are very, very special times in your formative years.
Oh, it was an incredible time. Not only Peyton, but I was good friends with Cooper and Eli. I mean, I used to go over to, Archie and Olivia. They would invite me to the house. I met Warren Moon, all the Saints players. No, that was an awesome, incredible time. A lot of times I've traveled the world, and people will ask me about those Newman days, and they'll see, myself, Peyton, and Eli, and then Odell Beckham, and I tell them, don't get fooled. It's an academic institution first, and we just happen to have those are 4 of the greatest athletes probably to come out of the metro area. So it was, Newman was a great experience, wasn't traded for the world.
I followed your career, and I've known you a long time, Randy. Even though you suffered some injuries, your redshirt freshman year under Dale Brown, virtually on one leg, you led the entire nation with almost 9.5 assists per game. How did your game change following those injuries?
Well, it changed a lot. I mean, I was just very lucky. I mentioned 2 coaches in that, an award inductee tonight, and the Hall of Fame award inductee, Coach Billy Fitzgerald and Coach William Robinson. They taught me how to play the game. So I was fortunate that I had a cerebral part of the game that, when the athleticism started to wane because of the injuries, I was able to continue to play. And to be honest with you, to play on one leg and to play 10.5 years in professional basketball, and most of them in parts of all seasons in the NBA, it was mainly because of those coaches and just knowing how to play the game from the head down, from the neck down, or from the neck up, I would say. But it changed a lot. Athletically, probably after the second surgery, I was probably never the same. But at the same time, to play 10.5 years in the NBA on one leg, I mean, I owe that a tribute to my coaching and learning how to play basketball very well at an early age.
You've had some highlights in your career, Randy, but this past summer you inducted into the All-State Sugar Bowl Hall of Fame. The significance in that honor.
Oh, it's amazing. And for me, the amazing thing about getting inducted is just to be around my family again. Like I said, I've spent some years in Australia, just to have them come and share this moment with me. It's a culmination of just all of the things that I've been through. My AAU summer career, biddy basketball, high school career. It brings me back to a lot of memories, a lot of amazing memories that, will last a lifetime. And so, when you're in the fire, when you're chasing your dreams and your goals, you never really have those times to look back. And now that when these type of accomplishments occurred, you have a chance to reflect a little bit because you're out of the chase mode. Life starts to slow down a little bit. And man, I mean, looking back on that, for me, the most important thing is kids can look up to me and say, I can be like Randy or be better, and you can overcome obstacles. Thing is never going to be a peachy road. There's going to be things that happen, but if you stick to it, if you continue to persevere, I think you can always achieve your dreams and come back and be a part of things like this.
And finally, Randy, a lot of young men and young ladies are watching this TV program right now and in all sports and wondering, what am I looking for? What is the thing you want to look at before you make that final decision in where you want to go to college?
First of all, make the decision for themselves. Don't make it for their family, friends, or a coach. Make it for themselves. Truly go and experience on your visits or the experience of being on the college campus. Go put themselves in their shoes on campus. Go stand in the court or the football field by themselves, nobody else around, and see how that makes them feel. If they feel good about it, then it's probably a good situation for them. The other thing I would tell all kids on recruiting trips, and I tell it to the kids in Australia that I've grown to have great relationship with, is when you go on your visit, and everybody take this, do not hang out with the top guys on the team. Hang out with, if it's a basketball team, the 7th, 8th, and 9th place kid on the team. because they will truly tell you how the program is. They'll tell you if they've been lied to, they'll tell you if they've been mistreated. Go deal with those people, because most likely the top guys are the red carpet's gonna be rolled out. But go have a conversation with those kids. Go have a conversation with the third string running back and see if he's been lied to. And so those are the type of situations I think all kids and families and parents, go have those conversations with them. That'll give you a good indicative of what the program truly is about, because if they had a bad experience, they're going to tell you. If they've had a good experience, or it might not have led to the expectations that they had going in, but they still had a great experience, then that's a true program and a program that has character. And I think that's important to all young men and women who are getting recruited in the recruiting process to, before you make that decision, know what you're getting into, because every program is different and every coaching staff like a used car salesman, and everybody's in the business of being that. The one thing that I can say, and this is getting back to LSU, I can separate. I'm back somewhere where I chose to go. So I'm not in the used car business salesman. If I believe in bleed purple and gold, I'm gonna sell that to the family because that's what I chose. So if I'm gonna go into a young man's house and his parents, I can truly tell them, I chose LSU for this reasons, and it's not lip service.
Randy, congratulations.
Thank you, Renee.
Continued success.
Appreciate it.
Godspeed. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We have a special guest today, someone who's no stranger to this area. He's done an outstanding job at every level he has played. NFL running back, Matt Forte. Matt, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Man, you are the poster child whenever we talk about recruiting on this show. Coming out of Slaughter High School, even though you were Player of the Year in St. Tammany Parish, All-Metro as a senior, recruiting was it was a strange situation. What was this like? Take us back, and what some of the schools, before you started on Tulane, did you look at?
I looked at them all. I got letters from a lot of different schools, and, I wanted to play at a bigger school, like a big football school, like the LSUs. I wanted to be in the SEC, really, those big schools like that. And, got letters from them and stuff, but ended up coming down to it that I was only offered scholarships from McNeese State, which was where my brother went, 1AA school, and then Tulane. And I knew that, my brother played there, but also that, Tulane wasn't that far away, so I would be close to home, so I ended up, going there.
At Tulane, you had an outstanding career, and you played for a couple of different coaches. Your senior year, 2,100, 27 yards, 23 touchdowns, All-American. What sticks out about that senior year and your career at Tulane?
It was just awesome just being able to do that and follow in the footsteps of my father. My father was a D lineman there, was team captain, I think, his senior year. And so, my senior year, I was team captain, was able to go and do some special things and, get not overlooked like I was kind of in high school, but not get overlooked so much in, by the NFL. So I was able to do some special things there, and Tulane was a great place for me to be close to home and get a great education as well.
Peeling it back just a layer or so, Matt, you're a great player and a great individual. But your Christian faith, man, you're a strong Christian guy. You have a great family. What does that mean to you?
That's one of my main priorities. When you're in life and you get older, you got to have your priorities in order, and faith is first, and then family and football.
Second-round pick of the Chicago Bears. Every year in the Windy City, Matt, you went over 1,000 yards. You finished your years there, 8,600 yards, 45 touchdowns rushing, 19 more as a receiver, great receiver, complete back. The only person in Chicago Bear history ahead of you is the great Walter Payton. You had some great years there. What's your fondest memories? What was most important to you there?
Oh, it was a lot of fond memories. A lot of great times playing. Got a lot of teammates that did a great job of mentoring me when I first came into the league. So being drafted there is special, and then being able to break some records and being Walter Payton, then your name is pretty cool. And so the city is special to me. Their fans were great, and they did a great job of supporting us, no matter win, lose, or draw. And so it was great playing for them, and it was awesome to create, a name for myself in that era.
You've changed addresses. We're in the middle of 2016 season now. Why is the Jets a good fit for you?
Well, when I first was being looked at in free agency when they first were one of the teams that was on the radar. One of my buddies, Brandon Marshall, who's been a great receiver for a long time, was there, and he was just telling me how great it was, training room wise, the facility, the organization, and I wanted to see for myself, obviously, but him being a good friend, hearing it from him, I knew that he was obviously telling the truth, and being there for a while, when I first got there, of this point in time, being my 9th year in the league, health is of most importance so you can be on the field, and the training staff is awesome. The nutritional aspect at the facility is great, and so if you can stay healthy like that, it prolongs your career and you're able to stay on the field longer.
You live away from your city that you grew up in, but you see what's going on now in the inner city and around it. You have a camp every summer, and you're involved in a camp. Why is that important for you to give back to the city and try to make a difference?
It's very important to me because I was, in those shoes growing up where I was a young kid and young and impressionable on many different things. And so I wanted to come back, and those kids need to have a positive male role model. In today's society, there's not many positive male role models today that they can get to look up to. And especially, television is kind of almost the worst thing to watch sometimes. And so I want to be that guy where they can come back and they say, well, I want to do it like Matt did it, where faith is first, then family and football, and they aspire to be successful, no matter if it's in athletics or academics or whatever it's in. You need to have your priorities straight, and I always teach that to them. And so it's very important for me to come back, and I love doing it because when I am coaching them or mentoring them, I always see a little bit of myself in those kids because I was in their shoes at one point.
Matt, take yourself back a few years. If you were a young recruit, young men and young ladies a lot are watching this show right now. What questions should they ask? What are they looking for before they make that big step, that final decision on this is a school I want to go to?
If they're being, highly recruited, I think the first question you should ask, or even find out and do research yourself, is about the academic, scale of the school and how much importance that they put on that. Because no matter what you do as a student athlete, that's why the student part is first. It's student athlete. And when you go into college and you're picking a school, it's not just to go there and play athletics. You got to get, go to school as well. And so, that type of thing, that kind of decision will shape, the rest of your future. So if you go into a school and you pick it just because, personal reasons or selfish reasons, then it may not turn out the way you want it to. And you may end up having to transfer, and it's a big waste of time sometimes if you do that. So I would say figure out the academic scope of the school so that, you have a backup plan. My dad always told me to have a backup plan because injuries do happen in sports, whether male or female, the injuries do happen, and you do have to have that academic background to fall back on. And so that's the main question I think I would ask.
Last question, Matt. People watching TV, they see Matt Forte carrying the ball. What would you like people to know that you're more than a football player? What's important to you, and what would you like people to know about Matt Forte?
Well, when people see me, obviously the first thing they think about is football, but more than that, like you're asking, I would rather them see Christianity through me, or see God through me. And sometimes when you meet somebody, you may be the only little bit of God or Christianity that they see or that they recognize, and they can base their judgment off of that. And so you need to be, whenever that happens, you got to be at the right place at the right time. You have to be impressionable upon them to, impact them in the right way. And so when people see me, I'd rather them see, God and how He's done work in my life than just me running the football up and down the field, because it's about more than that. That's why I give back so much to the kids, and I tell them that it's not just about football. It's about giving back to the community, giving back to the people who are coming up after you, so that they can be better and we can grow as a community as well, and not take steps back.
Well, Matt, I tell you what, I appreciate you taking time. It's always great to see you. God bless.
Thank you.
And good luck to you. We're here with a great friend, Tony Hall, now at the University of Kansas. Surprised to see him in Rock Chalk Jayhawk attire. Tony Hall. Tony, thanks for being with us.
Hey,
man.
thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Tony, you know, you played under Percy Dewey at Sarah Reed. You went on to play at the University of Louisiana, Raging Cajuns. You were at Michoud and an engineer at Michoud before you took on a job at Warren Easton. How did all that prepare you to be a coach at University of Kansas?
I think the most important thing is that I stuck in Louisiana throughout the whole process, through going to college, high school, college, my first professional job, and moving on to coaching. And I think, you know, being from Louisiana, growing up in Louisiana, us Louisianans, we take care of ourselves and we look out for one another. And I think being from a culture that's known for taking care of one another and being there for one another and loving one another, I think that's the greatest thing that has prepared me for where I'm at right now.
Coach, everybody in the country comes to New Orleans and Southeast Louisiana to recruit kids. Why is New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Southeast Louisiana so fertile with talent?
I think that's a twofold answer. I think number one, the kids play with such a desire to be successful that other places in the country, kids usually don't play with that same type of desire. Number two, the great coaching that's done in Louisiana. I think that's the number one overall thing that's overlooked throughout the whole process. Is just that the Louisiana high school coaches and amount of time and effort and how skilled they are. You know, everything I've learned and when it comes to football, coaching, playing, teaching comes from a Louisiana high school coach. And I think we have such great talent coaching-wise that it transfers over to our kids, and throughout the country it's starting to be recognized. But I think honestly it's the coaching that has a lot to do with it.
Tony, why is the University of Kansas a good fit for players from this area of the country?
Well, I think number one, because of our head man and David Beatty and the way he runs his program. You know, you hear college football is a business, and it is. Well, Coach Beatty, he's like me. He's a Texas high school coach. He hired a Louisiana high school coach. He has a bunch of high school coaches on staff, and we run programs in high school level more like a family than a business. And he took that aspect of it, and he runs his program at the University of Kansas more like a family, more than a business. And I think that's a benefit for our kids who need a little extra loving and nurturing and caring and being there for them. And I think our kids will continue to be successful under him because of that.
We kind of stole you away a little bit in the midst of the 2016 football season, but as a recruiter and now living up there and coaching the Kansas program, how has it been for you, and how are they treating you up there, Tony?
Honestly, it's been tremendous, man. Me or my family doesn't want or need for anything. The kids that are there now from Louisiana don't want or need for anything. You know, it's a big family. Everyone takes care of one another, and they take care of me as a coach. They take care of the players that's always there. I mean, that's already there. And it's just a big family. And if I could, you know, I've said prayers several times about wanting to get to the college level, and I had about a list of 6 things, and I think the University of Kansas probably exceeded that list by about 20.
Your background is offensive line, but you are the running backs coach at Kansas, and this is something you met with great excitement, great enthusiasm. Why is that a good fit for Tony Hall right now?
That's exactly where I want to be right now. You know, my background is offensive line. I played offensive line. It's kind of nucleus of the offense. However, when I was at Warren Easton, I called the offense. Well, now at this level, you know, I really didn't have too much of a desire being an O-line coach at this level. I want to be able to, I got some other career goals I would like to aspire to be, and I think coaching running backs at this particular time of my career helped me achieve those goals I have set forth for myself and down the line.
Tony, when you ride down Canal Street, when you come back home and pass in front of Warren Easton, what goes through your mind? What is your fondest memories here in New Orleans?
The first thing that goes through my mind is I feel deep down inside that I left that program better than what I found it. And that was my overall goal for if I was going to go back into engineering, if I was going to take another high school job, if I was going to be a college coach. I wanted to leave that program better than what I found it. And not at a small level, at a large level where you can see it, and there was a tremendous impact that I had. And I think the guys that I worked with and the administration and staff that worked with me, I think we've done that.
Well, Tony, you can take the man out of New Orleans, but you can't take the New Orleans out of the man, and you have really, really earned. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being with us again, Tony. You've been with us, been a great friend.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it, man. And I love you guys, and I love the coaches in the state of Louisiana for all the support they've given me, and it's been a tremendous deal. And I would not be here if it wasn't for guys like you and the coaches throughout Louisiana, helping me along the way, and I appreciate that.
Tony, thank you. God bless, and good luck to you.